If the housewife in Ottawa hears a knock on her door, it might be either one of the two people, a milkman or RCPM, the Canadian Mounted Police, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. This is the statement, perfect example of cynicism, where there is not only a milkmaid person or a police that is going to knock your door, but that can be your relative, your friends, or neighbors, or any delivery personnel who can anyone can knock your door, right? But this statement perfectly states how cynicism and fear of paranoia can affect one's sense of decision, and how we can redirect the growth path in the country's decision. Yes, we are stating a second Red Scare that happened during 1950s because of the Senator McCarthy, and how the state of fear misconducted all the government officials' actions during that time. Come on, let's see all those information in this video. Joseph McCarthyism. Before getting to know about Second Red Scare, you need to know about Joseph McCarthy. Who is this person called Joseph McCarthy? He is a then senator at that time when the Red Scare was at its peak. He is very famous for propagating this anti-communistic thoughts among the American people's mind. And even the president at that time, Dwight, was fearful in directly opposing this McCarthy, because he has got that amount of fame by negatively instilling all those fear of thoughts in people's mind, which got as a talking as a talking talking shit of the town at that time. And what he did is he said he accused each and every individual in America at that time, saying that everyone are communists and everyone are acting against the well-being of American government. So he even went on board and said that there are 57 communists who are hiding in all the government officials, schools and media professionals, as they deceive themselves. Also, all those government officials, media professionals, they send all the crucial informations of American government detailed to the Soviet Union, and this has become the talking sense of the city at that time. And people believed all those things, stating that okay, there was some communist spies hiding among ourselves. So what should we do? So McCarthy is saying something very true. So we need to believe in his words. So people were blindly believing him, and and to some extent, people were even worried that what if he calls he calls me as a communist. Many people worried that, because what how he accused people is, if you're doing drawing, right? If you're just doing a simple sketch drawing and you are just coloring it in red, he will come and accuse you as he is a communist. He is using the red color, or else like if you are whatever. If you are doing all your hobbies that you are interested in, there will be a chance that he'll call you communist. So people worried that what if he calls us communist and throws out of this country. Those are all the fears that were prevailed among that time when McCarthy was at its peak of propagating the anti-communistic thoughts. And where, the peak of anti-communistic thoughts of McCarthy come to an end when he stated one of the army individual, saying that the army personnel's judge was elected by the communist leader. At that time, they said that did this McCarthy still have any decency left with himself? Why is he behaving like this? So people at that time afterwards realized that he is simply misconstructing all those powers. So this is very important, because the education at that time lost its ability to teach the individuality and freedom, and people strictly believed about the one person who is spreading all those false informations. People just believed all those things. So here's why the education should play a very important role to prevent all such scary events. So this is about McCarthy and his propaganda on anti-communist activities. Suppression of great ideas. So because of this person McCarthy, because of his false propaganda, people believed that uh, there is anti-communistic spy people among the reformers that are going to be causing all the dangerous things to the United States. Still, after after McCarthy's rule is over and his reputation is over, still people were believing in that. After the World War II, people were divided into two sections, and one part of the people believed that we need to really need to make us economically forward country. We need to reduce the inequality, and we need to reduce the disaster caused by the World War II, so that the people in US can get jobs, they can do their core activities with individuality and freedom. But other side of people still believed in that anti-communistic propaganda, and they worried that what if the reformers who are fighting for this inequality are communists, and which means that still America is in the hands of the terrorists, right? According to them, communism is about virus, communism is about cancer, which is very deadly, which is very unsafe for the US citizens. So simply because of this one person, and how the suspicion and fear might just redirect the growth of one greatest country to to dwell in the rock bottom. And many peoples lost their jobs simply because of this suspicious activity. Even President Roosevelt promised everyone, the other sect of people believe that communist people are you know uh, mingling in this reformer activities. Roosevelt promised them that there will be one special program arranged for everyone, and this program will watch everyone's loyalty, and there will be no communist people. But this program failed to state the difference between the real communists, and there are partly might be they might be partially supporting communism. That is, the Americans even they might be supporting uh, the communism, right? But this program failed to clearly mention the differences of opinion among people, and people were lived in worry that what if they find that out, like I'm having this opinion, I need to suppress this opinion, because if government officials will find that out, or else like the uh, Americans who are hating communism finds that out, they it will be unsafe for me, I'll be in danger. So people worried that, and people lost jobs because of that. Because if I'm going to apply for this job which is supporting small amount of communism, they will hate me and they'll throw me out of this country. So these are all the things we need to be very careful. You know, what you say is that you can relate this fear to a normal family situations also. A husband who is suspicious about the wife's activity, and how the beautiful family gets ruined because of the husband's unwanted suspicious activity. This is what exactly happened in the US second Red Scar too. Fear of homosexuality. This person, McCarthy, is not keeping mum about the concept of homosexuality. He connected even homosexuality with the communism. He called the people who are homosexual as mentally ill, psychologically disturbed, and they are in the most vulnerable positions. So the communists can manipulate them into believing all those things and all. So most of the, I think, 67% of the gay people at that time, 1940s to 60s, they were fired from the jobs only because of they were gay, they could be supporting communism. So this, if you take the second Red Scar's fear of homosexuality, this fear of homosexuality was arising from the another scare called as lavender scare, which lasted from late of 1940s to up to 1960s, even after the second Red Scar. But it took place in between the first Red Scar's approval, whereas all those LGBT community peoples were were seen as mentally disturbed people. They weren't given enough respect, and there were studies that were conducted at that time stating that same sex behaviors are more common than one would ever imagine. And this even made the you know made the government officials at that time prone to dismiss all the government officials or any senate members who are even supporting the gay LGBT communities and all. So this is how the fear of homosexuality is getting connected to communism, and he was not even he just didn't even let this. He also connected the homosexuality with communism, and made the LGBT community people hated by the society. And it is at that time the hate of the LGBT community was at its peak during the Lavender Scare, which also mingled with the First Red Scare, and because of which people lost all their uh, free transportations, because people sort of thought to move to a new city so that they can get easy transportation, foods easily. But because of this restrictions around the LGBT communities, uh, they were restricted from their own house itself. So at that time, the respect towards LGBT was closely none. So this is how second red scars, paranoid thoughts factored and instilled the fear of communism in the mind of people, thinking that the LGBT people are mentally ill and they can support communism and they can cause any kind of disruption to US at any time. How it affected Hollywood. The artificial fear that were instilled on people's minds, some margin of people still believe that the communists are going to attack America, and the American actors were also not exception in this case. American actors, more of the actors believe that communists can attack the US at any time. So in their movie, they clearly filmed the communist villain against an American hero, where the American hero fought against this communistic villain to fight for the democracy and individuality and freedom of his United States country. And even they depicted that how communism can be the grave threat through the United States, the country like United States, how it will be deferring the growth of United States in the long run, as many minority countries around the world. And even these films, they even they didn't even go for censorships. They just they just were brought directly to the people's view, uh, without passing censorships, and they were hurting all the sentiments of communist peoples around the world at that time. And no one asked questions like, why are these anti-sentimental films taken against the communist peoples and all? Because that time, what they were taught that is, I'm going to be fighting against the people, the communist people who are ready to attack me at any time, which is in reality which was never happened. But at that time people simply believed that, which existed for almost 6 7 years. The to get rid of all those thoughts of fear, it take that much time for people at that time. So it is very important not to dwell in any form of suspicious activity until and unless you make a research on it and you believe. After that, without any evidence, you can't simply be having all the suspicious and all. How it could drain the mental peace of uh, a whole country. This is a great example, the second red scare. And that is about it. So thanks for watching the video. I'll see you with next concept in the next video. Until then, take care, have a good day, bye bye.